Leaving Lake Naivasha late morning after our boat tour, we hit the road south towards the famed Maasai Mara. We would stop for lunch near a little town called Awasonjiro. Here a gift shop had a garden to one side, furnished with picnic huts to protect us from the sun. But lunch could wait, the garden was full of birds. Our first speckle-fronted weavers were here, in a mixed flock of weavers and sparrows foraging on the ground. We had been looking forwards to seeing these engaging little birds, and they did not disappoint. Also amongst the foraging birds were red-billed firefinches. A mixture of plumage types suggested the presence of females and immature males. Also in the flock were village weavers, Kenya rufous sparrows and vitaline masked weavers. All this activity wasn't getting that packed lunch eaten. And it got busier when we found our first Hildebrandt starling. What a fantastic bird! It was clearly easy to tell the adult Hildebrandt starlings apart from the equally colourful superb starling, and we were able to confirm that, when a superb starling turned up, perched on the fence separating the garden from the car park. Somehow, lunch was taken inside one of those little tin-roofed huts. Food was eaten as quickly as possible because there were more birds to see outside. It was just a scrubby little garden, but it was so busy. Back out there, we found our first white-browed robin chat, who entertained us with some song. Another first, the rather comical-sounding slate-coloured boo-boo. It is reminiscent of something from Yogi Bear. African grey flycatcher as a name is much more descriptive. We had first seen mountain grey woodpecker, with the red belly patch, this morning at Lake Naivasha. We enjoyed another sighting, of a male who seemed to be carrying food. Was it a sign there was a nest nearby? Things seemed hopeful when he flew to a nearby power pole which sported a good-sized hole. And he went in. It clearly was a nest. We watched for a few moments as he reappeared at the hole and then flew away. What seemed to be a well-grown male youngster stuck his head out too. Another first in the garden was this splendid white-fronted bee-eater. A wattled starling showed off quite extensive yellow around the eye, suggesting a non-breeding male. Our first Dianor's Usambiro barbets were in this garden. This colourful little bird is considered to be a species in its own right by some authorities and known as Usambiro barbet. Others, including E. Bird, consider it a subspecies of Dianor's barbet. Whatever it is called, it was a very engaging little bird and we were pleased to see it. Vitaline masked weavers and Speaks weavers showed very well. We were headed back to the safari vans to continue our journey to the Maasai Mara, but had to stop briefly to enjoy these sightings. Back on the road, and there was nothing to stop us getting to the Maasai Mara gate. Well, nothing except a double-banded courser that our driver, John, spotted at the side of the road. The stony, scrubby ground on the outskirts of the Maasai Mara seemed made up for this bird, and it is described as widespread. It seemed odd that we had only this one sighting in the entire tour. One of the things that appealed to us about this tour was the opportunity for spotting mammals as well as birds. We'd already seen a variety of species on our Lake Naivasha tour and were looking forwards to some close encounters in the Maasai Mara. Giraffes, elephants, antelopes, maybe even big cats would be great. So we were very pleased to find our first black-backed jackal just outside the park gates. More crowned lapwings, after our first view yesterday at Kenyan, were also very welcome. A couple of colourful purple grenadiers were foraging for seeds right at the side of the road. This one, a female with a lovely barred belly, was colourful enough. But then we saw the male, with the actual purple belly and rufous head. Red-cheeked cordon bleus could not compete, especially this female without the red cheek. It felt as if we would never reach the gate, but, suddenly, there we were, in the actual Maasai Mara. Almost the first thing we saw was a small group of blue wildebeest and a common warthog. Wildebeest were going to be quite scarce from now on, as most had migrated south into the Serengeti. African buffalo would be more common, as would the topi, a fine-looking sturdy antelope. Both male and female topi sport horns. People are not allowed to get out of the vehicles in Kenya's game parks, except for in a few very specific locations. The authorities do not want to lose their tourists to big cats, buffaloes, or rhinoceros. So we would have to get used to birding and animal spotting from the safari vans. With the help of our far-sighted and sharp-eyed guides and drivers, I don't think we missed too much. Thompson's gazelles are small and elegant antelope and the commonest gazelle in East Africa, so it wasn't surprising that we found some. They are apparently the fourth fastest land animal, after the cheetah, the pronghorn, and the springbok. We were equally pleased to see these little African grass, or Nile, rats. We had seen some distant zebra on Crescent Island. Now we got a little closer views. The plain zebra were the first of two species of zebra that we were hoping to see on this trip. Of course, the zebras, along with the buffaloes and the giraffes, were playing host to oxpeckers, in this case the yellow-billed oxpecker. We had to bird from the vans, but this was not a problem as they were fitted with tall sliding windows and a pop-up roof. Good views were had of yellow-throated longclaws, more widespread cousins to the Sharp's longclaws we'd had poor views of at Kenyan. Northern anteater chats and little bee-eaters kept us busy, and our first olive baboon was great, if unfortunately some way away. Cisticula identification was to prove a little tricky in the days to come. This, we think, is rattling Cisticula. A very brief view of our only magpie shrike resulted in this snatched flight shot as if flew off, not to be seen again. Luckily, redneck spurfowl were more obliging, foraging at the side of the road and providing good views. The sun was setting and the shadows lengthening. It was time to head towards our evening accommodation. Still, we would definitely stop for excellent birds like these southern ground hornbills. These were the only ones we were to see of this species, considered vulnerable due to habitat loss, persecution, and low reproductive rate. In keeping with the ground part of their name, these birds forage on the ground for insects and small vertebrates. We set off again, but not for long because we saw a spotted hyena on the side of the road. It trotted alongside the stopped safari vans for a short while before deciding to cross the road in front of us. A great first sighting, although we were to do very well for this species in the next few days. Another quick stop, this time for a silver bird enjoying the last rays of the evening sun. We were headed to the Maasai Mara Lodge, a tented camp actually located inside the Maasai Mara Reserve. We arrived as the dusk was falling, alighting from the safari vans and enjoying a last African pied wagtail in the car park. We would spend a night in a luxury tent, hoping that lions could not open tent zips. Tomorrow would be another day in the Maasai Mara and the Mara Triangle. Lots more to see and do. For more information, see our 3 volumes of travelogue in e-book and paperback format from Amazon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And make sure not to miss our other videos in our Kenyan birding safari series.